Good evening and welcome to this edition of WJAY Nightly News. It's episode 5 for this Monday, September 16th, 2024. And I'm your host, Jason DeCanio, ready for another week of fantastic information to bring to you with great topics, important information that you deserve, the most important facts ever in your life. And you deserve it because you want to know what's going on 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. I wish we could be on 24/7 and give you everything you wanted, because sometimes those news outlets just don't give you the real stuff, the real truth, and they have to continually lie to you, and you deserve better than lies and untruths and half stories. So with that, we look at 3 articles today. Now, the new thing about around here is we're only going to be on 4 days a week. So we're going to be here from Monday through Thursday. I'll take Friday off, and we'll be back the following Monday again. And by the way, my next guest next week on the program will be Andrew Hocking from Wipe Those Tears. He's going to be on because we're going to be talking a little bit about some things that have happened to both of us over the course of this past month. We're going to get his reaction to some of that. So stay tuned for that great interview next Monday from 5 to 6:30. I don't know what time he wants to come on, but I know he'll be one of the guests for next week. And if you would like to be on the program to talk about anything that's on your mind, or debate me about something that I had talked about the previous week, or anytime when I was still doing DMS 3000 news, drop us a line and we'll make sure that you get on. But if you're going to be a rude, crude dude, then no, because at that point, then you're going to be hopeless. You have to be willing to open up to everything that you dish out. You must be able to take it. We'll talk a little bit about that later on when we go to the important information. First article up today is, why is it bad luck to open an umbrella inside? Now, this was supposed to be for Friday the 13th last week, but because I don't do Friday shows, we've pushed it to Monday. So we're going to look at this article anyways, because I think it's an interesting situation that there is some bad things that could happen if you do open an umbrella inside the house for no apparent reason. But I don't know about the bad luck superstition, but there are some cons to not wanting to open an umbrella in the house. Okay, here's a great one for all you sweet potato lovers who decide not to just eat them around Thanksgiving. If you don't eat sweet potatoes every day, this might convince you to start. There's a great article about it. We'll look at it a little bit later. And what is Mastodon? And why are people leaving Twitter for it? Or X, as they say. Plus, we also have news of the weird, of course, because it is Monday. What holiday is today? The motivation of the day as well. And, of course, headlines, sports, news. As far as that, you can see scores all you want. I'll tell you what's going on with my Mets. And, of course, we have some other great things and, of course, other important information, which I'll get to in a little bit here right after the headlines. We also have, of course, VS. Premieres every Tuesday and Thursday at 9 p.m. right here on StreamYard. Tomorrow's topics, well, you'll just have to see what we're going to be talking about. I guarantee you it's going to be a great show. I hope you are participating, though. By that, I mean participating in the voting, looking at the entire show, making a decision from the 2 things that you were presented from the history of whichever things we were looking at. The first 2 shows were Coke versus Pepsi and McDonald's versus Burger King. 4 interesting businesses that go back almost 100 plus years, maybe 200 plus total. And those are very important to our American life because we've eaten McDonald's when we grew up. We've eaten Burger King. We drank a Coke. We drank a Pepsi with those McDonald's meals that we've had. So all 4 of those have a connection to our past. And surely, I think we can honestly say we like either one or the other, but both, it's a tough decision. You can like McDonald's for some things. You can like Burger King for some things. You like Coke or you like Pepsi. Or you trade off. Whichever one suits your fancy. Okay? And Wipe Those Tears, of course. Season 2 every Wednesday night at 9 p.m. Myself and the Tear Masters will be back for another great show. Episode 31 coming up. Continuing the look of the NES games with the letter M. We keep going until we finish. So, like I say, NES games are not your cup of tea. Trust me, there'll be other great tiers that we will be looking at throughout the rest of the season. It's not going to take all season to do all 710 because we're almost halfway there. So we'll see you then Wednesday night. Of course, Andrew Hawking will be there, our newest tier master. He did a great job last week, and I'll present more about that in some more important information. And for the info on my weight loss, I'll give you that on the important information. Okay, let's go now to the headlines for today, Monday, September 16th, 2024. This is from NPR, of course. Now, remember, like I said, the disclaimer about NPR is it is a liberal media network, very left-wing, very Harris-supported. The Democrats love it. The Republicans can't stand it. But they do give you good headlines on it, a little bit of a taste of it. But remember, draw your own conclusions. The disclaimer goes, you know how I feel about it. All right. In France, a shocking story and difficult questions about society. A rape case in France involving a woman whose ex-husband is on trial for drugging her and recruiting other men to sexually assault her. Now, thousands have turned out to support her, and many are asking hard questions about the culture that allowed this to happen for years. Wow. Oh, my gosh. TikTok argued against its U.S. ban in court today, and here's what happened. TikTok's survival in the U.S. is riding on the outcome of the hearing. Federal judges peppered both the Justice Department and TikTok with skeptical questions about the ban, which takes effect in January. Here's everything we know about the apparent assassination attempt on Trump. An agent spotted a rifle barrel poking through a fence. A witness got a photo of the suspect's license plate as he fled. Now Ryan Wesley Routh is facing federal charges. China frees American pastor after 18 years in detention. The State Department said that 68-year-old David Lin is coming home after being arrested in China on vague contract charges, and that he and his family deny he had been jailed there for 18 years. Also, Ryan Wesley Routh's digital footprint paints a picture of the disillusioned former Trump voter who took up an impassioned defense of Ukraine. Here's what else we know about the 50-year-old suspect. This is what he looks like. Interesting. Terrible. 58 years old and you got a vendetta against Trump. You son of a gun. I'll have more to say about that in the important information. The FBI is investigating a second apparent assassination attempt on former President Donald Trump through Sunday. The gunman was about 300 to 500 yards from Trump with an AK-style rifle with a scope. A celestial trifecta. What to know about Tuesday's lunar eclipse. This month's harvest moon will not only coincide with a supermoon, but also with a blood moon and partial lunar eclipse. When Will was struggling with depression, a therapist said just the right thing. In 2014, Will Davenport was being treated for depression at an inpatient mental health program. One day, his therapist issued a challenge that renewed his sense of purpose. For people with opioid addiction, Medicaid overhaul comes with risks. More than 1 million Americans use Medicaid to get addiction treatments like methadone, but as states update their systems, some patients have lost coverage. Even a short gap can be life-threatening. Rupert Murdoch is set to face his kids in court with Fox News' fate in the balance. The future of Fox News and the rest of the Murdoch media empire is at stake in a trial this week in Reno, Nevada. Rupert Murdoch wants to change his will to consolidate his eldest son's power. Her piano concert was 6 years in the making. Then Puerto Rico's power went out. Puerto Rico's unstable electric grid affects every sector of society, including the island's rich cultural scene. An outage abruptly ended an emerging pianist recital concert, touching a nerve. People who exercise have healthier belly fat, new study finds. Here's another good reason to keep exercising. A study finds people with obesity who exercise can store more fat under the skin instead of around their organs, which is much better for their health. Shanghai hit by the strongest typhoon since 1949. More than 414,000 people have been evacuated ahead of the powerful winds and torrential rain from Typhoon Babinka. Schools were closed and people were advised to stay indoors. Inside the U.S. city, churning out Ukrainian weapons. Yes, Morning Edition visited the Scranton Army ammunition plant for a behind-the-scenes look at how defense manufacturing contributes to the economy of northeastern Pennsylvania. Climate change is one reason for hotter oceans, but there are others. Hurricane season is heating up. Hurricane Francine hit Louisiana last week and dumped rain across the South, and forecasters expect more stormy activity in the Atlantic in the next few weeks. Emmys 2024, The Bear, Baby Reindeer, Shogun, Win Big. Eugene and Dan Levy hosted the 76th Primetime Emmy Awards Sunday night. Check out the award winners marked in bold. Trump was targeted in an apparent attempt assassination, the FBI says. Former President Trump was the target of what the FBI said appears to be an attempted assassination. I'll talk more about that in the important information. As his West Palm Beach Golf Club, President Biden said he was briefed and a person has been detained. We all know. Trump says, I hate Taylor Swift after pop star endorses Harris, and so he should. The Republican presidential nominee directed his vitriol at the pop star after Swift threw her support behind the Democratic presidential nominee. I got a message for you at the end, Swift. So this one's for you. Top legal advisor to New York City mayor quits as investigations swell. The top legal advisor to New York City Mayor Eric Adams resigned over the weekend, the latest sign of instability in the Democrats' administration as it deals with multiple federal investigations. Vance defends spreading claims that Haitian migrants are eating pets. Yeah, we all know about this. Senator J.D. Vance, in a media appearance, blames the media for ignoring the situation in Springfield, Ohio, and justifies false stories about Haitian migrants. As medical strike drags on in South Korea, patients are on edge. 7 months have passed since South Korea President Yoon Suk Yeol announced a plan to increase the number of doctors. Trainee doctors walked off their jobs in protest, and they haven't returned. Torrential rains trigger mass evacuations as rivers surge in Central Europe. Torrential rains in Central Europe have forced massive evacuations in the hardest hit areas in the Czech Republic, where floods reached extreme levels on Sunday. And finally, creative ways communities are reducing food waste. And while lots of powerful changes to reduce food waste can start at home, sometimes the scale of the problem benefits from a community-wide approach. And there you have it, friends. The headlines for today, Monday, September 16th, 2024. Some of the sports headlines for today, especially with my Mets, Francisco Lindor has a back issue problem, but that's not stopping him from playing. He did have an MRI, I guess, this morning. They didn't find anything wrong with him, so he's just suffering from soreness and stiffness, but I think he's going to be cleared to play for tonight's series against the Washington Nationals back at Citi Field. However, the Mets did lose 2 out of 3 to the Phillies, but they are still in the wild card, tied with the Atlanta Braves for the third wild card spot at 81 and 68. It was a tough outing for them yesterday, and a lot of the Mets podcasters on YouTube basically shanghaied the New York Mets for losing 2 out of 3 to a tough Philadelphia team that pretty much the magic number is basically, I think it's 6 right now for them to clinch the division. What I hope will happen is that the Mets do get into the playoffs with that final wild card spot. If we can't have the division, let's go for that wild card and try to win it some other way. We have a good, solid team. We're just up against a very tough schedule right now, and we've got several games, final series against the Nationals and Phillies at Citi Field, and then we have the Braves and then the Brewers to wrap out the end of the regular season. Can we win at least 50%? Maybe take some more games away from the Braves and the Brewers and the Phillies? Maybe. We'll see what happens. Now for the important information. Okay, as you all know, over the weekend, former President Trump has been second attempt assassination. And you all know that, of course, the do-nothing Democrats are all blaming Trump for his own assassination attempt. And the outcries from everybody is like, why would you say something like this? Well, here's the bottom line, folks. The Democrat Party, from the high end of the president to the lowest peon, you all guys are all narcissistic son of a bitches. You know why? I'll tell you why. Because you have no heart. Okay? A man just almost got shot twice. And so you're so concerned for about this much, and then you go on the attack saying it was all his fault. Have you no decency in your heart? No respect for this man's attempted life-threatening situations? Have you no compassion for a guy who pretty much gave you Everything you asked for 5, 6 years ago, you never had it so good. You take everything for granted. You're still whining and complaining that life is not fair. And you need to look at yourself in the mirror and realize if you're a Democrat, that this is your future. This could be you. This could be you being an attempted shot from some narc, okay? And for Biden and Harris to go on the attack and say that it was all Trump's fault and we have nothing to bullshit, baloney, okay? You had everything to do with it. You probably planned this off. You know that Trump is being threatened every day from Iran to other oppositions and enemies and from within this country. You know dang well what you're doing. And you still say he's a threat to democracy. The only threat to democracy is you and Kamala Harris, President Biden. And you ought to be ashamed for it. No. That's too easy of a word for a narcissistic asshole like yourself. And you, Kamala Harris, the future so-called candidate, where's your compassion? Where's your respect? Where is your so-called, I think you're a fake. I think you're a false person who basically just wears a mask to hide her real, true emotions and tries to fool everybody. And we all know that there's people out there that do that. Lie, deny, and then where's your plan? Where's your economic plan to save the country, Vice President Harris? You had 3.5 to 4 years, now going to be going on 5 years of doing something about this, and you still haven't done anything. Folks, President Trump has a plan. He's given you this plan at the RNC convention. He's gone on 50 interviews, conferences, press conferences, rallies, everything. If you watch those rallies, God willing, if you don't have the heart to watch it on Fox News, then film it on Forbes on YouTube or something. But he laid the groundwork. He's laying the groundwork. We're not going backwards. We're taking the same plans from 5, 6 years ago that worked for our country, and we're going to implement them to make it even better. And we're going to continue on it. We're not moving backwards. We're just taking a president's great policies that worked for us as Americans. That's the whole plan. But you want to sit there and watch Kamala Harris do word salad after word. I got crap dressing for word salads, okay? I do. I really do. It's sickening. It really is. Here's another example of a troll. Okay, Lily Robbins, I love to yell. Well, because maybe you're probably deaf in both ears, and you're probably stubborn as a mule, probably. Well, we all know that you're a troll. You impersonate women, and your true feelings, like I said, if you watched my video yesterday, you little asswipe, then you probably would know. Okay? I'm not yelling. This is not yelling. This is instilling it in your thick skull that you are an idiot. And for the Taylor Swift fans out there, especially the 18 to 24-year-olds, we're going to block this comment, by the way. Ban and user. You're banned. Bye-bye, troll. And for the 18 to 24-year-olds who follow Taylor Swift and think she's hot crap, let me tell you something. Kamala Harris called you guys stupid. Not me. I didn't call you stupid. She did. Taylor Swift owes it to you, and Kamala Harris owes you an apology for it. An apology. She's never going to apologize to you. Neither is Taylor Swift, for that matter. I did like Taylor Swift's music in the beginning, but when I found out she was going to endorse Kamala Harris because of the fact that maybe only the fact that she's a woman, that is a poor example to endorse somebody. Please, if you're voting based on color, race, creed, personality, the fact that she's the opposite sex, if you're voting on all of those issues, your vote's really not going to count because you don't care about the state of the country. You don't care about the future of our economic status. Flat out, you don't care. That's the problem with you guys. That's the problem with the Democrats. You don't care. All you want is power. Well, I'll tell you what. There are people who do care, and I care, all right? and I will fight you tooth and nail, fact check you every time, and tell you just had it too good. You don't realize you had it too good. That's your problem. That's the issue right now. You take everything for granted. You whine and complain that it's never good enough, yet it was good. We had peace. We had prosperity. We had no violence. We had the safety of our country in hand. We had low gas prices. We had low food prices. You were able to put money in your pocket and save it for a rainy day. Now you're living paycheck to paycheck. The only people who are really having no problems are the ones that are making over $500,000 a year. And that's not even half of our country. That's maybe a quarter of our country, maybe even less. The elite class continues to get rich while we continue to get poor. And if you think that Kamala Harris is going to just give you money like that, good luck, because you're going to have to pay taxes on it. And it's going to be higher inflation than you never thought before in your life. You thought 9.4 was bad? It's going to probably go up to 10, 11, 12. We can't survive, folks. We cannot survive. So you tell me why you think Kamala Harris should be the president of the United States. And don't give me this, well, I hate Trump and blah, blah, blah. That's not the good enough reason. I want to know your reason. Why you think Kamala Harris should be promoted after doing a suckiest job ever as a vice president. The do-nothing Democrat that she is will continue to do nothing even in her presidency if she is voted in by you scumbags who pretty much, I don't know what else to tell you. I don't know what else to tell you. I could sit here and lecture you and tell you why, but to convince you would be pointless. You're going to vote because either your parents voted that way, your grandparents voted, people in your family voted that way, and you really don't know where to go. And for you independent people out there who still don't have an idea of what Kamala Harris is all about, why are you even fathoming the idea? If you are still unsure, even after all of this, you really think that Kamala Harris is going to just shove out a plan to save all of us? Do you really think that when she had 3.5 to 4 years in the White House with the current president? No, Nikki, I don't eat cats. Sorry. Maybe you do. Why don't you go shove one down your throat right now? So anyways, that's the story of it. And I'll tell you, I'm going to get tougher and tougher as the months go on. And like I said before to all those idiotic trolls, as another one decides to grace us with their ugly presence, you really want to come on and said you are a coward because you like to hide behind these fake channels of female impersonation. You cross-dressing son of a bitch. That's what you are, a cross-dressing bitch. Okay. And if these are real channels, which I know they're not because they're not verified by YouTube, they have no videos on them, and they're basically unvetted, unverified, and have nothing to go on, then it just goes to prove my point that you like to up my views. You're only helping me. You're not hurting me. Okay. And I'm going to expose your comments on my show and show the American people what a freaking asshole you are. But do me a favor, troll, or certain trolls, do me a favor. Come on the show and debate me like an honest dumbass that you really are, because you're not smart, okay? You're not smart. You're an idiot, and you're gullible, and you want attention. I'll give you attention. I'll give you all the attention you want. We'll be right back, because we've got another great article for you. We got News of the Weird coming up. Don't you forget that. And I'll tell you, like I say, it's not going to get any easier from here on out. We'll be right back.
A smart mechanic and a computer add up to good car service every time.
When it comes to the tires I drive on, I'm not about to pinch pennies. I want the best I can get. Goodyear.
They don't waste my time. They don't waste my money. That's just plain good business.
You gotta be good to be Goodyear.
Goodyear tires and auto service for more good years in your car. We're Goodyear!
Hey, you're a guy. and guys want to be cool. Hang out with other guys who are cool. But even cool guys sweat. 40% more than women, in fact. So how you gonna stay cool? With something new. Speed Stick Gel. No other gel keeps you drier, so you always feel your coolest. It's unbeatable gel protection, and guys, no matter how cool they are, need all the protection they can get. New Speed Stick Gel. It's just for the guys.
What's got apples, raisins, the taste of peaches and strawberries, maple and brown sugar? Instant Quaker oatmeal.
What a warm way to start the day.
Creamy.
Apples. Raisins.
Maple and brown sugar.
I feel better when she has a warm breakfast, and Quaker's flavors make it easy.
With Instant Quaker oatmeal, you can really make their morning.
Delicious.
How can I ever forget one of my special customers, little Michael? Every week he'd come in, and every time he'd say, his eyes shining.
Store reason, please, Mrs. Lang.
One of those reasons I had to give him immediately. The others I put in a bag for him. Now there is Stork Chocolate Reason, a long-lasting, chewy chocolate caramel covered with rich chocolate, just right for Michael.
Stork Chocolate Reason, please, Mrs. Lang.
And Michael still eats the first one immediately. Stork Chocolate Reason, the everlasting chocolate chew.
When I want a lightly sweet cookie, I eat a honey-made graham from Nabisco. But when I want a crisp and crunchy cracker, I eat a honey-made graham. But when I want something wholesome with natural honey, like a cookie, that's when I eat a honey-made graham. And when I want something crackling like a cracker, I eat a honey-made graham. But you know, sometimes I want a juicy steak, so I eat a steak. And then I eat...
Honey-made graham's a crunchy cracker, a honey of a cookie, and low-fat, too.
If you're not giving your sandwich French's mustard, it may not like it.
That's not French's. No way!
Come on, listen to your food. French's is 100% all natural. No sugar, no artificial preservatives. Delicious. French's all natural mustard. Be good to your food.
All right, welcome back to JAY Nightly News. Episode 5 is in a continuation, ready to go. It's time now for the news of the weird. And the lead story for tonight from the editors at Andrews McMeel Syndication for UExpress.com is inexplicable. And when Las Vegas police responded to a call in the wee hours of August 27th about someone lying face down on the ground and outside a funeral home, they might not have expected the most obvious explanation. They found a dead body amid the landscaping with a casket nearby on a rolling cart. KTLA-TV reported that a door to the funeral home was open and flower petals were scattered on the floor leading out of the door. Investigators learned that the body was that of a person who had been the subject of a viewing the previous day, and surveillance video showed a woman breaking in and moving the casket outside. Police arrested 47-year-old Patricia Sierra the next day and charged her with grand larceny, burglary, and disturbing human remains. She couldn't explain her actions, she said, because she had consumed 6 beers and blacked out. Sierra remained in jail on an $11,000 bond. On September 10th, as Delta Flight 295 taxied toward takeoff at Hartsfield-Jackson Atlanta International Airport, the Airbus A350 headed for Tokyo clipped the tail off a smaller plane, the Associated Press reported. No one was injured on either aircraft, but passengers had to deplane and be rebooked on later flights. Jason Adams, who was aboard the regional jet headed to Louisiana, posted to X about the collision. Well, that was terrifying, very jarring, metal scraping sounds, then loud bangs. We're fine, no fire or smoke, he wrote. How else do you celebrate Labor Day in Michigan than participating in a ranch dressing chugging contest? Fox 17 TV reported that Zach Orvis of Belding, Michigan, won the first ever competition at the Harmful Royster restaurant by downing 24 ounces of the Creamy Delight in 10 seconds, beating 11 other contestants. I've seen people pour about that much on their salads, so what's the difference? Orvis said. I don't feel sick at all. Orvis won a $100 gift card and a free order of all-you-can-eat wings every week until spring of 2025, which he'll use the ranch dressing to dip the wings in. Sure. Well, people in the Netherlands spend more than 900 million euros on drugs each year. How do we know this? KWR, the Research Institute for Drinking Water businesses, analyzed sewage samples. NL Times reported that the researchers looked for residue of cocaine, speed, and ecstasy between 2015 and 2022 in Dutch sewage treatment plants. We are assuming a fairly conservative estimate, KWR researcher Thomas Terlock said, and this provides insight into the size and consumers of the Dutch illegal drug market. Nisi Knight of Newby, Yorkshire, England, was enjoying a vacation in Turkey when her neighbors let her know that they found her cat, Ted, drowned in their pond. I had to break the news to my husband and our 4 children, and we were all absolutely devastated, Knight said. The BBC reported on September 6th that Knight arranged for her pet to be cremated and went on with the holiday. But 4 days later, her cat sitter, who had been looking after the family's other cat, called her and said Ted had just walked through the cat flap on the door. And Knight realized she had paid £130 to cremate someone else's cat. Well, after returning home, she collected the cremains, which had been labeled "Not Dead Ted." The family has not been able to trace the owner of the drowned cat. They believe it was probably a stray. Oh, man. And a man suffered 2 brain bleeds, multiple skull fractures, and multiple facial bone fractures, Las Vegas police said, after a convenience store clerk beat him with a bat for taking too much nacho cheese sauce. So here's an interesting thing. We went from ranch dressing to nacho cheese sauce in a couple of articles. On September 3rd, KSNV TV reported, officers were called to the store where the man was lying on the ground and bleeding. The person who called 911 asked the clerk, Myron Bully, to call for help, but he responded, I'm not going to call 911. Well, he better have learned a lesson. Bully told police he had warned the victim about taking too much cheese, but the victim said he wasn't leaving without it. Bully is being held on $10,000 bond at the Clark County Detention Center. No wonder. His name is Bully, and yet he is a bully. The Museum of European and Mediterranean Civilizations in Marseille, France, is offering special visiting hours to naturists, people who shun clothing, until December 9th. Canoe reported on September 2nd. Nude patrons will be welcome one evening a month to see the exhibition, Naturist Paradises, which is described as a journey of discovery of the very first naturist communities, first in Germany and Switzerland, then in France, according to the museum. Although nudity is welcome, the museum will require visitors to wear shoes to avoid getting splinters. And earlier this year, the social media star and model Sue Ellen Carey, who lives in the United Kingdom, shared her wedding with her many followers, the Daily Star reported on September 12th. The ceremony was unconventional, as Carey married herself. She called her lifestyle sologamy, or she did, until she recently divorced herself, even after several rounds of couples therapy. It's crucial to know when to end a cycle, Carey posted. Even commitment to oneself can have its challenges, such as dealing with the expectation of being perfect for yourself all the time. She said she felt lonely in her self-marriage and her own company was exhausting. We can only imagine. Oh, yeah, we can only imagine. Indeed. While Britain's policing minister, Dame Diana Johnson, was addressing senior police officers on September 10th about an epidemic of antisocial behavior, theft, and shoplifting. Someone lifted her purse from the hotel where she was speaking, the BBC reported. A member of the Home Office staff also had belongings stolen. Warwickshire police said they had arrested a 56-year-old man from Coventry in connection with the burglaries. He was released on bail. Wow. Plaintiffs, known only as John and Jane Doe, have filed a $25,000 lawsuit in Florissant, Missouri, against the city of Florissant and an unknown police officer called Joe Smith. The Does Say Smith is a sexual voyeur and predator of the worst kind. KMOV-TV reported on September 11th. Now, according to the suit, Jane Doe was pulled over in February for a broken taillight. The officer asked if she had insurance and directed her to pull up proof on her phone and show it to him. Well, at that point, he took her phone back to his cruiser, turned off the Bluetooth link to her car, and didn't come back for 10 minutes. He didn't give her a ticket, but she alleges he scrolled through her photos and found intimate images that she had shared only with her husband. Jane Doe found out about his snooping when the FBI contacted her in July to ask that she identify a photo of herself that had been enlarged and printed. Agents said it was not the only photo of her that they found in the officer's possession. Jane Doe said she has been disturbed and has suffered humiliation, emotional distress, and mistrust. The Florissant Police Department said in a statement that the officer is no longer employed there and no other officers were involved. Oh, boy. And there you have it, friends. Another look at News of the Weird. Yes, by the editors at Andrews McMeel Syndication for YouExpress.com. And, of course, they'll be here every Friday. Well, they update every Friday, but we'll, of course, give you the update on Saturdays with McVay and Jay and here on WJAY Nightly News. Now, to continue, right now in 42 weeks, the current weight, 298.5. Yes, I did gain a pound. Why did I gain a pound? Well, let me explain. I went to the gym this morning. Yes, I do go to the gym for all you idiotic trolls who shove McDonald's McBiscuits and coffee into their fat heads. And you know who you are, okay? My eating habits have changed a lot in 42 weeks, okay? I still eat very good, and I do go out occasionally, but I don't shove McDonald's and Burger King and Subway into my body and think that that's okay. Occasionally, I'll have a soda here and there. So what I'm saying is that, okay, I overindulged a little bit this week, but I have every right to, okay? Not all the time I'm going to have a strict diet to go on. You can have a cheat day once in a while. There's no restrictions, and there should never be any restrictions on anything. You should never restrict yourself, nor should you starve yourself on any weight loss plan that you go on. I don't care if you think it's going to be high protein, low carb. Just make sure you get the right amount of protein in your body. Make sure you get those carbs, but do not, for under any circumstances, cut your carbs, okay? Because if you cut your carbs, you're basically just going to be relying on high protein, and your carbs are needed for energy and digestion. So it's very important that you get a balance of both, but make sure you get a little more protein and a little bit less carbs, but don't cut them out altogether. Okay? So at this point, I'm still 36.5 pounds down. I'm still maintaining. And folks, it's going to be a lifelong journey. And I appreciate all the support on Facebook. Thank you very much. And when we come back, we will look at our first article of the day, which is, of course, why is it bad luck to open an umbrella inside? Oh, and we have some trolling comments, which we'll expose when we come back with more of the nightly news right here on StreamYard. We'll be right back.
If I'm feeling mellow, I just want cheese and tomatoes. If I'm feeling attractive, I say put on some pepperoni, you know? If I'm feeling wild and crazy, I just tell the guy behind the counter, throw it all on. My.
Hi, you know what's so great about Friendly's? First of all, I get to eat free. Second of all, they have lots of good stuff to choose from, like crispy chicken, juicy cheeseburgers, or great hot dogs. And guess what? You even get a free ice cream treat. You don't get that anyplace else. Okay, so what's the catch? Well, you have to bring a grown-up along. But that's okay.
Kids eat free at Friendly's every day after 4.
Say, that's a well-balanced breakfast. Want to make it taste extra delicious?
Yeah!
Well, everything tastes yummy with Golden Blossom honey. Everything tastes yummy with Golden Blossom honey.
Yeah!
Cereal, toast, and pancakes, honey makes them yummy. Muffins, waffles, pastry too. Breakfast goes with honey. Everything tastes yummy with Golden Blossom honey.
Gee, you really know your honey.
Love that Golden Blossom.
You've driven these streets 1,000 times.
But tonight, there's something different. Tonight, you're using Exxon 93 Supreme gasoline for a cleaner engine, smooth acceleration, and a full 93 octane.
Let the tiger set you free.
Rely on Exxon Supreme.
Rely on the tiger.
It's hot outside. As the temperature goes up, Newmark & Lewis will cool you down. It's the Newmark & Lewis air conditioner sale going on now. We've got air conditioners of all sizes for small rooms and large rooms. Air conditioners in stock so you can cool off tonight. The Newmark & Lewis air conditioner sale means you don't have to sweat it out. Keep cool and comfortable with a new air conditioner. At Newmark & Lewis, we want you to be comfortable with our price, comfortable with our service, comfortable with our selection. Newmark & Lewis air conditioner sale. Hurry in.
Is this the reaction you get when you serve your kids vegetables? So how do you get them to eat their vegetables? Just add Cheese Whiz. Cheese Whiz. It's got the unique cheesy taste kids love, no matter what it's on. Cheese Whiz tastes great on anything and everything. Cheese Whiz. It makes food taste better to kids.
And now there's a new way for kids to enjoy the great taste of Cheese Whiz. New Cheese Whiz squeezable cheese sauce.
All right, welcome back to the Nightly News. It's episode 5 here, ready to go for the first article. But before we do that, it's time to expose our stupid, idiotic trolls and their wonderful comments, which absolutely make no sense. First up is the man who calls himself eBay is a joke. Yeah, the fat boy from Michigan. You're going to continue to talk about J-Boy. No, I don't think so. Faggot, maggot, whatever you want to call yourself. You have no life, and you still will have no life. And even when you become 60, 70, God willing, however long you live on this lifeless earth, you're still going to be a backstabber to this country. Okay? Realize that you live in a place where the Detroit auto workers basically screwed you, and you tried to expose them, and then you got a slap on the wrist like you always do. So we'll go ahead and ban that user. Goodbye. And then I don't know what that means. 320 by November. You still are over 300 pounds, you dumbass. You're still over 300 pounds. I'm under 300. I win. You lose, skunk. You lose. Loser. That's right. Yep. So anyways, and I said, Dr. Idiot, yes. Emu also says that he liked to transition from car to a tiger in that commercial. Yeah, that's pretty much your Exxon commercial or your mobile commercial, or even for that matter, that specific type of car. Very good. You did very good on that. All right. Now, with all that said and done, like I said, keep coming with the trolling comments, stupid asses. We'll expose you, and then we'll give you this, okay? Because you're not worthy of it. But if you want the attention and you want to give the American people a chance to jab at me, you're too much of a coward to come on here and debate me honestly. And you know it because you'll always be a coward. Moo. All right, let's look at our first article of today. Why is it bad luck to open an umbrella inside? And we know some of the trolls would just try to experiment with that as well because they have nothing better to do. Well, let me see if I open up this. Oh, yeah, right in your face. Caroline Fanning says, opening an umbrella indoors is a big no-no, even if you're not superstitious. Here's why. On a good day, I'd like to consider myself a logical person, rational even. Still, I refuse to walk under a ladder, step on a crack, or pick up a tails-up coin. One time, I almost ended an Uber ride early because a black cat crossed the street ahead of us. And I certainly would never, ever open an umbrella out indoors. But even I have to admit that that last one might come in handy sometimes so I don't get soaked, which makes me wonder, why is it bad luck to open an umbrella inside anyway? Opening an umbrella inside one's house is, like most superstitions, an example of magical thinking, says Phil Stevens, who's a PhD and associate professor of anthropology emeritus at the University of Buffalo, SUNY, and the author of Rethinking the Anthropology of Magic and Witchcraft. The nature and duration of the potential consequences will vary across cultures. One can't generalize. And it's not just the fear factor that you have to worry about. There are some etiquette rules to consider as well. Reader's Digest spoke with Stevens and etiquette expert Diane Gottsman, founder of the Protocol School of Texas, to uncover the origins and proper behavior surrounding this superstition, as well as a few ways to reverse accidental umbrella-related bad luck. Read on and you just might have sunnier days ahead. Well, the answer to that question depends on your personal level of superstition, of course. If you're the superstitious type, you may think so, but there's no scientific evidence to back this up. And even true believers may not be able to pinpoint exactly what kind of misfortune befalls a person who breaks the umbrella rule. The feared list, however, includes everything from vague, difficult times to damaged property, sleepless nights, and even ghosts entering your home. While it's logical to assume that this superstition began with the invention of the umbrella, says Stevens, you might have guessed that, but what you might not realize is that umbrellas aren't a modern invention. They may even date back as far back as ancient civilizations. Here are some of the theories about the origin of the question. Why is it bad luck to open an umbrella inside for your next trivia night or simply your own edification? The exact birthday of the umbrella is still a little shady, but the ancient Egyptians are clearly responsible for one early version of it, as recovered art depicts priests and royalty using umbrellas for shade as early as 1200 BC. These depictions have led to lots of speculation about the genesis of opening an umbrella inside fears. One is that an open umbrella indoors and away from the sun would anger the sun deity. R.A. Another posits that the peacock feathers parasols were meant to mimic the sky deity. Nut. And a person of non-nobility stepping under her shade was sacrilege. In both of these cases, the theories point to the origin being rooted in religion rather than mysticism. If the Egyptian sun god Ra, that's R.A., was angered by this, that's considered religious belief, explains Stevens. Gods look after human affairs and help people maintain their own customs. And while all of these conjectures are largely unsubstantiated, it still might be wise to avoid antagonizing a sun deity because you never know. Fast forward to Victorian London, circa the mid-1800s, when modern umbrellas quite literally popped onto the scene. And we're not talking the handy fold-up automatic gizmos we enjoy today. These early brawlies were large and unwelded, constructed with sturdy metal spokes, stiff spring triggers, and steel-ribbed canopies that ejected at the command of a mechanism. In Panatti's Extraordinary Origins of Everyday Things, scientist Charles Panatti writes, a rigidly spoked umbrella, opening suddenly in a small room, could seriously injure an adult or child or shatter a frangible object. Thus, the superstition arose as a deterrent to opening umbrellas indoors. Gottsman adds, they could very well be the source of mom's eternal worry that you might poke your eye out. It's true. People across cultures often believe the things that have an individual power or essence in them, and that essence can be transferred through direct contact or proximity, according to Stevens. How does that affect this superstition? When open, the umbrella is designed for use outside in a storm. A storm is unpredictable, uncomfortable, potentially violent, and destructive, he explains. The house is orderly, tranquil, peaceful. Opening an umbrella inside contaminates the house with the essence of the storm. Bad luck is the result, a generic label that will refer to anything that goes wrong in the house or with its residents. Cultural traditions can also play a role in umbrella etiquette. In the Chinese culture, it is said that you should never give an umbrella as a gift because the word itself is close to the Chinese word for breaking up. Bestowing one may signify that you think your relationship is fractured. So what should you do if it's pouring outside and you don't want your departing guests to get soaked? Offer to huddle them with them under your umbrella while escorting them to their car. Then take said umbrella right back with you. Practically speaking, the Victorians might have made the strongest case for not opening an umbrella inside, and their logic still holds true today. An umbrella can cause damage if it's open too close to another person, a piece of fragile art, or other valuable item, notes Gottsman. And bringing a wet umbrella in and then reopening it on your way out the door can leave the floor wet and slippery, causing damage to property or person. She recommends skirting the bad luck by asking your host if there's someplace you can store the umbrella until you depart. So if you subscribe to the superstition that opening an umbrella inside will have a negative impact on your life, you'll be happy to know there are several options for undoing that bad luck. Here are a few to try based on various magical thinking beliefs across cultures. Replace the tainted umbrella and start fresh with a new one. Celebrate National Open an Umbrella Indoors Day, March 13th, which encourages conducting a science experiment of sorts. Open an umbrella inside, then document any negative things that may happen over the next few days. For some people, this provides reassurance that the superstition is baseless. But then again, how many people would actually do this and try to keep on track with it, you know? Open an umbrella inside and chant positive affirmations to counterbalance any negative energy. And walk back the action, commit the offense in reverse order, in effect, bringing the contamination back outside. Call upon your favorite deity for protection, essentially creating an exorcism through the power of God. And served an open paper parasol in your cocktail. Hope that the alcohol in your beverage kills any evil spirits. That's why they put the little cocktail umbrellas in your drink, to protect the gods from destroying your drink, or maybe wearing down the alcohol so you get the full effect. Who knows? Well, there you have it, friends. An interesting topic on the superstitious of the powers of the umbrellas. Yeah. Once again, yeah. We don't know. Yeah. I think your name is Chris Kennedy, the doofus. I think your name is Charles Fitch, the idiot. Keith Detweiler, the dumbass. How about that, fool? And another block. Oh, I'd like you to back that up. I like you to back that up, fool. Yeah, I've been on YouTube for years and 4 people watching. I don't think you're funny. In fact, you're too chicken to come on and do a video. You're too chicken and coward, you yellow belly, gutless piece of shit. There you go. I said it. That's right, you gutless yellow piece of turd. Yep. Blocked again. And Emu says, funny how you mention umbrellas. It's light drizzling where I am now, and I had to open mine. Yeah, I know what you mean. It's true about the umbrellas. That's a strange topic indeed. But there you have it, friends. A great article, which really does talk about superstitions in a way. And if you're that superstitious on Friday the 13th, believe it. Sometimes maybe it's just bad luck that just runs in your life. I don't know. But wherever you are or wherever you were on Friday the 13th, I hope you had safe and, well, a good day indeed. We'll be back with another look at some more articles. We have, if you don't eat sweet potatoes every day, this might convince you to start. We'll talk about the health benefits of the sweet potato, more of the nightly news when we come back right after this.
Meet Max Backtalk. Enter any sound you want. Then match it to your flashing light. Take it to the max. Again?
Billy, sexy.
Nerd.
Sexy.
Nerd.
Billy, sexy.
Take it to the max. New Max Backtalk from Milton Bradley.
You can help your hamburger, you can make it a delight.
Just smile and say cheeseburger macaroni tonight. Say cheese.
Hamburger helper.
Say cheese.
Help your hamburger. Hamburger helper, help your hamburger helper. Make a great meal.
Hamburger Helper Cheeseburger Macaroni turns your plain hamburger into a savory, tangy cheddar cheese and macaroni supper your family will smile about.
Hamburger helper, help your hamburger helper.
Say cheese.
Make a great meal.
On Amtrak's Metroliner service, you can spread out over breakfast. The air shuttle encourages closer working relationships. On Metroliner service, you can have a private conversation. The plane, however, offers conference calls. On Amtrak's Metroliner service, you can travel first class. On the air shuttle, everyone gets treated equally.
All aboard, Amtrak, all aboard.
Thingamabob, gobbledygook, what's its face? Whatchamacallit, whatever it is, whatever it was. Chocolatey chocolate, whatchamacallit, how's it go? Wowzum do, sugary caramel, whatchamacallit, doohickeys, you know what I mean, peanutty crispies. Chewy, chocolatey, crunchy, Doodad, let's get a Marie, more than a mouthful. It's whatchamacallit,
The thick, rich taste you love. But sometimes, some days, you're in the mood for something a little bit tangy, a little bit kicky, a little bit spicy. Yeah, Heinz 57 sauce. It's like ketchup with a kick.
I never knew your cat was so cuddly. Right? She really loves these delectable squeeze-up treats. What? Delectables. Delickable treat. Delickables? Delectables. Delickable delectables. Funny. No, just delectables. Deliciously delectable delectables. You're hilarious. You see what I did there? Wow, she's going to town on this.
Delectables, squeeze up. Deliciously delectable delectables.
All right, welcome back to the Nightly News. Episode 5 is in continuation here. By the way, folks, like I said, I will continue to expose these stupid comments from one idiot in Brick, New Jersey, who continues to just be a fool. Because like his buddies in Michigan as well, too. So, like I said, you know, if the trolls want to continue to be assholes and realize that they think they have the answer to everybody's problems, go watch my video from yesterday. And by the way, also, Jay's All TV and Sports channel has surpassed 1,000 views. Thank you very much for your continued support. We appreciate it. Now, next up on the list of our stories is, if you don't eat sweet potatoes every day, this might convince you to start, by Emily Lawrence. This was back in March of this year. I think we might have covered this topic because, you know, it was a kind of the thing that you would basically eat a sweet potato on Thanksgiving, you know. But sweet potatoes are good all year round, according to what they say. And they're just as versatile as white potatoes, but pack even more of a nutritional punch. So what are the sweet benefits of sweet potatoes? There's no veggie quite as versatile as the humble spud, whether you love your potatoes baked, mashed, as hash browns or French fries. Best air fryer recipes for the win. And there's no shortage of ways to put them to delicious use. Sweet potatoes can be enjoyed in all the same ways as white potatoes, and the nutritional benefits of sweet potatoes bring even more to the table. And even if you're chock full of food facts and can rattle off the benefits of bananas, the benefits of yogurt, and the benefits of blueberries without consulting Google, there's a good chance you don't know all the benefits of sweet potatoes. If they're not already part of your best recipes, learning about their benefits straight from dietitians just might convince you to integrate them into your diet. Keep reading to find out why nutrition experts love sweet potatoes so much and learn the most delicious ways to cook them. Well, there's a reason sweet potatoes have garnered a glowing health halo, and below you'll just find a few of the highlights. One sweet potato has 15% of the daily value of fiber, making them good for gut health, explains registered dietitian Natalie Rizzo, who's author of Planted Performance and the founder of Green Let's. That fiber adds digestion and helps prevent constipation. As a complex carb, sweet potato takes more time to digest than simple carbs, ultra-processed foods with little nutritional values, some of which our trolls decide to eat and think that that's healthy. Notes Jessica Lehman, a registered dietitian and associate teaching professor at Arizona State University. That means a sweet potato won't raise your blood sugar levels as quickly, helping to keep your mood and energy levels steady. Plus, adds Rizzo, slower digestion means sweet potatoes will keep you fuller longer than other carbs. You can also add sweet potatoes to your anti-inflammatory grocery list. The tuber is high in antioxidants, specifically vitamin C, carotenoids, and phenylpropanoids, which reduce inflammation in the body and protect against chronic diseases, as well as certain types of cancer. Sweet potatoes have also been linked to improve vision due to their beta-carotene and vitamin A content, a better immune system, vitamin C and manganese, and strong bones, manganese again. Eating sweet potatoes regularly is even good for your skin. Beta-carotene is an antioxidant, so it helps to reverse damage from the sun. Lehman explains that it also improves wrinkling and sagging of the skin. According to Lehman, sweet potatoes are good for mental health because they're high in vitamin B6, which is needed to synthesize serotonin, a neurotransmitter that helps to regulate mood. We're in favor of any food that calms anxiety. So clearly, the benefits of sweet potatoes are impressive, but do they rise to superfood status? Lehman says yes to this food quiz question, explaining that sweet potatoes deserve the title because they're so rich in vitamins and nutrients. Rizzo also agrees, adding that while there's no official science-backed definition of the term, she considers almost all fruits and vegetables superfoods. With that said, what makes sweet potatoes particularly worthy is their fiber, potassium, vitamin A, vitamin B6, and vitamin C. And by the way, yams, which look similar to sweet potatoes, are also considered a superfood. The nutrients in yams are extremely similar to those in sweet potatoes, although yams are higher in potassium, while sweet potatoes are higher in vitamin A. Whichever you choose, you can rest easy knowing the tuber comes with uber health benefits. So if your goal is to lose weight in a healthy way, both experts see no need to cut sweet potatoes out of your diet. One sweet potato only has a little over 100 calories, and it's filling and full of nutrients, says Rizzo. People think they need to avoid carbs to lose weight, but that's definitely not the case. Eating carbs from vegetables is part of a healthy weight loss diet, and eating fiber is an integral part of losing weight. Plus, she adds, sweet potatoes are rich in fiber and complex carbohydrates, which help to maintain a feeling of fullness. Sounds like eating sweet potatoes can, in fact, help you have a flatter stomach. So, the benefits of sweet potatoes are clear, but there are downsides. Are there downsides? Well, while there are really no disadvantages to eating sweet potatoes, Rizzo says that having one on its own is a meal, as does provide enough protein to be satiating. Combine your sweet spud with lean protein like eggs, skinless chicken, Greek yogurt, beans, or chickpeas to make it more filling. And if you have diabetes, Lehman says, be mindful of how you eat sweet potatoes because they're high in carbs. Pair a sweet potato with a protein and a little fat to avoid a blood glucose spike. People with a history of kidney stones should also be mindful, as sweet potatoes are high in a nutrient called oxalate, which can cause kidney stones in people susceptible to them. Well, if knowing the benefits of sweet potatoes has you ready to eat them regularly, you may be wondering in the adage, too much of a good thing applies. And while both our experts say eating a sweet potato a day is certainly healthy, they don't recommend more than that, since there are plenty of other vegetables to enjoy too. If you're eating more than one a day, you might want to consider varying up your food choices so you get a variety of nutrients, Rizzo says. Lehman adds that the high beta-carotene content in sweet potatoes can cause skin to turn orange if they're eaten in excess. We're pretty sure no one wants orange skin, but is it okay to eat potatoes that have turned green? French fries are a good example of how a cooking method can turn a healthy food into a not-so-healthy food. To ensure the preparation of sweet potatoes doesn't take away from their nutritional value, Lehman suggests roasting, baking, air frying, or microwaving versus frying them in oil, which just adds extra fat. She also advises against adding too much salt or sugar, and Rizzo warns us away from heavy cream or lots of butter, both tasty but sadly high in saturated fat when preparing mashed sweet potatoes. Lehman's favorite way to integrate sweet potatoes into easy meals is to dice them into cubes for stew or stir fries, while Rizzo recommends baking or air frying with a little olive oil and spices. There's no shortage of ways to enjoy potatoes, and experimenting is part of the fun. Integrating them into meals more often will benefit your body in many ways, and that's, well, pretty sweet. There you have it, friends. Another great article. So enjoy your sweet potatoes. Enjoy them in moderation. Do take very good caution to the wind when you are eating healthy. And remember, of course, you're doing fantastic. Just keep on going. Losing weight is a lifestyle change, my friend. It's a big lifestyle change. If you're willing to do it, which I've done for the last 42 weeks, more than what I can say for any of my idiotic enemies out there who pretty much gave up when they realized they can't even drop 5 pounds, let alone even 1 pound for that matter. We'll be back with our next article of what is Mastodon and why are people leaving Twitter for it? And then, of course, we'll have the holiday of today and the motivation to wrap up our program. More of WJAY Nightly News when we come back right after this.
Cars aren't cheap, never have been. That's why I never take shortcuts with cheap oil and air filters. Give me AC filters every time. AC filters match the original specs on my cars like a nut on a bolt.
Precision AC Delco parts. They don't just fit, they match.
Keep your car running the way it was made to run.
Now get up to $780 back on AC filters and plugs. See your retailer for details.
Just because a glass and surface cleaner is blue like Windex doesn't mean it cleans glass as well as Windex, because only Windex is specially formulated with ammonia D. It leaves a beautiful streak-free shine. Just about anyone can appreciate. Windex, the best on glass, from S.C. Johnson Wax.
Caramello. Caramello. Oh, it's such a sweet imagination. From your fingers to your mouth. Chocolate and golden caramel. Caramello.
Alex Klein is a real Geico customer, not a paid celebrity. So to help tell his story, we hired that guy who does those funny sound effects.
My car was totaled over 1,000 miles from home. So I called Geico. And in less than 10 business hours, I got a check for a new car.
Geico, real service, real savings.
Hi, Grandpa.
Hey there, Ryan.
Grandpa, you can't imagine how many different butter candies I just saw in the store.
Yes, I can imagine that.
But you can't imagine how many of them had golden wrappers.
Well, I can imagine that too.
But Grandpa, can you imagine that there are people who actually buy that other stuff?
No, I cannot imagine that.
Alf destroyed my 23-year marriage, says Heartbroken Star. Enquire within.
We've got what you want, the way that you want it.
Lisa Bonet kicks hubby out of house just 3 weeks after the birth of their new baby. He's gone for 5 days.
Enquire within.
Mary Tyler Moore's battle against skin cancer. Mr. Spock snubs Star Trek pals at his wedding. Get all this and more in this week's National Enquirer.
'Cause we've got what you want, the way that you want it. Enquire within.
All right, welcome back to the JAY Nightly News. It's episode 5, coming into our second hour of the program here. Or mainly, yeah, we're in the second hour. This is the last half hour of our program, actually. Hope you're enjoying the program here. I think our trolls went to go eat dinner or something because I don't see any insults. Oh, what'd you guys do? Run out of insults? Oh, I guess you really just can't handle the honest truth about life. Well, too bad, as they say. Next up on our program here is, what is Mastodon and why are people leaving Twitter for it? Well, let's find out why they're going to this new social media platform. This is by Jamie Stathis. Way back in March, almost, I would say, 6 months ago. So let's take this off real quick. Okay, there we go. All right, here we go with this article of Mastodon. As Twitter deflates and users leave in droves, Mastodon gains traction. Over the past couple of decades, we've gone from adjusting to life with a social media presence to social media becoming an integrated part of our world to seriously wondering what would happen if social media disappeared. Some people are more devoted to these platforms than others, and many wish it would go back to where it came from. Elon Musk's early tenure at Twitter has shined a bright light on some pitfalls of the platform that were always there, but that have been amplified by his chaotic takeover. So, what is Mastodon? Enter Mastodon, a decentralized social network built on open source software. That means that anyone can set up their own server, and there is no central authority controlling the platform, which is in contrast to Twitter, which is a centralized platform controlled by Twitter, Inc., explains Michael Xavier, founder of Insider Techie. Mastodon is similar to other social media sites in that users can search for topics using hashtags and reshare, reply, and send private messages. German software developer Eugene Rochko founded Mastodon in 2016. He runs at Gargaron, where he posted last week that we've hit 1,028,362 monthly active users across the network today. 1,124 new Mastodon servers since October 27th, and 489,003 new users. That's pretty cool. For those not in the know, Musk formalized his Twitter takeover on October 27th, and Bot Sentinel, which is a firm that tracks Twitter behavior and analyzes accounts, estimates estimates that nearly 1 million users deactivated their Twitter accounts in the first 5 days after Musk took over, and now Twitter users appear to be leaving in droves as tumultuous management of the company continues. There are more than 1.5 million accounts across all the Mastodon servers, with the largest server, Mastodon Social, run by the developer of the Mastodon software, growing by around 700,000 accounts in a week, says William Gunn, who's head of communications at Quora and longtime Mastodon user. In some ways, it's easier to describe what Mastodon is by describing what it isn't. Mastodon is to Twitter like email is to Gmail, explains Gunn. Instead of one website that's run by one company, any user of Mastodon can run their own company of the software and send messages to any other Mastodon user. Gunn says, and similarly, anyone could run their own email server and send email to anyone else, no matter what comes after the @ in their email address. In technical terms, this is called federation, and it's the main difference between Twitter and Mastodon. So while Mastodon and Twitter function similarly, they use different terminology. Twitter's tweets are called toots on Mastodon. Likes are called favorites, and retweets from other people are called boosts. One of the main differences between Mastodon and Twitter is that Mastodon has a much longer character limit for posts. On Twitter, you're limited to 140 characters, but on Mastodon, you can go up to 500 characters, Xavier says. This allows for more in-depth and nuanced discussions on Mastodon. And because Mastodon doesn't have a central server, it's more resistant to censorship and attacks. Additionally, Mastodon gives users more control over their data, explains digital marketing expert Deepak Patel. For example, users can choose to make their posts private or public, and they can also block other users and report abuse. Sorry, trolls. Looks like you're going to even be blocked on this new platform, even if you try something stupid. One of the main complaints about Twitter is the algorithm, which isn't an issue with Mastodon because it's not algorithm-driven. On Mastodon, what you follow is what you see, explains Andreas Grant, who's the network security engineer. There is no hidden algorithm trying to manipulate us to a certain type of content. Because Mastodon isn't an algorithm-driven site, you choose and follow to control what fills up your feed. And like all social media sites, you can follow others to see their content. If you find someone who shares your interests, you can also add them to your boosts list, which allows their post to appear in your timeline. Patel explains. Now, in addition, you can join or create groups on Mastodon, which are similar to forums or discussion boards. These groups will allow users with common interests to connect and share content. Finally, you can search for Mastodon instances specific to your location or interest using the Mastodon instances Mastodon search engine. By following these steps, you can easily join Mastodon and begin interacting with its vibrant community. Joining Mastodon is a bit more involved than other social media sites because it's more complex than just choosing a username and setting up a basic profile. After opening Mastodon.social, the first step is to choose a server. Now, every server is operated by an independent organization or individual and may differ in moderation policies. Mastodon says right there on the site. It can be a little overwhelming, but Grant says these options are the beauty of Mastodon. And this is what the trendy word decentralization means. You can choose which server seems to be taking care of your freedom or just join a random one, Grant explains. You also have the option to run your own server and invite people to join you. Each server has its set of standards, but there is some interaction across the servers because it's part of the ecosystem called the Fediverse, which is essentially a collection of decentralized open source social platforms. Explains Christopher Jamet, Managing Director of Innovation and Emerging Media at Gather, who advises clients on their digital and social strategies. Jamet advises his clients to lock a handle down, take a look, and keep Mastodon on their radar. And while choosing a server might seem daunting, Gunn says it's not all that important because you can switch servers without much trouble. Just pick one that looks good to you, perhaps one that is in your local area or whose description sounds appealing. The first thing to do is to go to Mastodon's site and pick a server. You pick a username and password, and then you're off. You can take a look at the posts on the server before joining to get a feel for things, Gunn says. And the next step would be to follow people. You can change your display name on Twitter to your Mastodon handle to help people find you. And you can also use services like FetaFinder that will tell you if anyone you know on Twitter has already joined Mastodon. From there, it works pretty much the same as Twitter, Gunn says. It might take a few days to find people and for them to find you. Because hashtags are so important due to the lack of search, you may want to write an intro post, including hashtags that describe you and your writing to help people who are looking at those hashtags to find you. There you go. There's your sources. Do check it out. Might be a very interesting thing and give good competition in the race to see who can post more on the social media platforms. 6:15 right now. And when we come back, we'll wrap up nightly news with the motivation of the day and the holiday of the day as well. We'll be back right after this.
Hello, I'm here to tell you a little bit about pizza etiquette. Can you do this? Yes, it's acceptable. It's good cold in the morning for breakfast. I've done that. I think how many have done that? Can you take it and go from the other end, crust first? No, I'm sorry. You have to start at the point.
Doesn't mean that I won't try. So if you wanna stay cool, soft and dry. Come on, soft and dry. So if you wanna stay cool,
Soft and dry antiperspirant wide oval solid. Stay cool, soft and dry.
Looks like Daddy's bringing home the barbecue. A big sack of McDonald's McRib sandwiches. Grilled pork and that sassy sauce. Tempting, huh? Like a barbecue in a bun without the bones. And with a big icy Coke, it's, well, you're only human, huh, Daddy? Chomp. The good time, great taste of McDonald's McRib for a limited time. Only at McDonald's.
He gets all the attention, but we know how it'll end. Streak spots, wipe, wipe, wipe. Stop ignoring me. Those engineers put me here because you need jet dry in your rinse cycle. Give me some jet dry. One little bottle a month. Let me fight that residue. Let me shine. Hallelujah.
sweet nectar.
Look at that. Brilliant. So brilliant you could eat off it.
Jet dry.
Mwah.
Your dishwasher was designed for it.
Why not jazz up dinner tonight? Zatarain's tastes so right. Everybody loves a bite. In New Orleans, we jazz it up with Zatarain. Red beans and rice, jambalaya too. Yellow rice, any night will do. So much flavor, they'll be thanking you for Zatarain. Speed it up, heat it up. Sausage, chicken, shrimp it up. In New Orleans, we jazz it up with Zatarain.
That's me before Dawn Power Wash.
Soaking, scrubbing, that's life.
Was life. Now Power Wash gives me the power of an overnight soak in minutes. I'm sorry, minutes? With 3 cleaning boosters not found in traditional dish soaps that help break down, loosen, and lift away food and grease. So much faster. Just spray suds on. No water needed till rinsing. Tougher mess? Let the suds sit a few minutes before wiping. Even cleans
the grill.
Thank you. It's more than soap. It's Power Wash.
All right, welcome back to Nightly News. Let's go on with our holiday of today. We picked a random one for you out of all of the holidays that were on the schedule. We like to look at the food ones because I think they're fun. It gives you good history and everything. So today, National Cinnamon Raisin Bread Day. I don't know if you're a big fan of cinnamon raisin bread. I like it very much. I think it even goes good with some French toast as well, just for a treat every once in a while during the fall time of the season, which fall, by the way, is next Saturday on the 21st. So let's take a look at National Cinnamon Raisin Bread Day. And you don't have to bake bread to join it. According to historical accounts, the gaffe that led to the invention of cinnamon raisin bread by Henry David Thoreau was considered scandalous at the time. Cinnamon raisin bread has come a long way to mainstream acceptance and love since then, and now we can't get enough of it. National Cinnamon Raisin Bread Day is a holiday that is used to celebrate the goodness of cinnamon-flavored raisin loaves of bread. Now, the bread is sometimes called the bread of iron because of the high iron content of the raisins it contains that help the body perform many of its vital functions. It can be enjoyed buttered and toasted with a cup of coffee, orange or apricot marmalade, and is mostly a fixture on food menus on National Cinnamon Raisin Bread Days. Historically, what today is cinnamon raisin bread has evolved over many different variants like German fruit bread with spices and candied fruits called stolen bread, Russian kulich, and Italian panettone. Italian fruitcake, by the way. The present day raisin brand that we celebrate every 16th of September in the United States was made popular in England in the 60s. Raisins that are a major fixture of the bread are gotten from grapes, a fruit that U.S. produces a lot of and celebrates through the National Raisin Day that happens the 30th of April each year. Now, to celebrate National Cinnamon Raisin Bread Day, people like to make their own freshly baked cinnamon-flavored raisin bread with a twist to the common ingredients like soaking their dried raisins in hot water, grape or orange juice to make it soft and plumpy before using. And in most cases, to celebrate National Cinnamon Raisin Bread Day, people just go to pick up freshly baked loaves of cinnamon raisin bread from their favorite pastry and eat. Here's your timeline. Starts 1490 BC. Whoops. Get that in there. Goes to 1873, 1912 to 1915. And, well, the most recognized Italian raisin bread logo, Sun-Made Raisins. Yes. Okay, so how to observe this day? Well, there's no better way to celebrate than to bake your own version of cinnamon-flavored raisin bread. Experiment with a shared recipe. Invent your own raisin recipe. There you go. And make your very own freshly baked raisin bread. Cinnamon raisin bread recipes abound everywhere online. Take a popular recipe, put your own spin on it, and share it with the world on National Cinnamon Raisin Bread Day. Now, as you share your newly invented recipe and the result of your baking experiment with family, friends, and even strangers online, God willing, use the hashtag National Cinnamon Raisin Bread Day to amplify the conversation around cinnamon raisin loaves of bread on social media. Here's 5 things you don't know about raisins. April 30th is National Raisin Day. And since raisins are rich in fiber, they help you feel full or longer for a duration of time, helping you control binge eating. And the majority of grapes used for making raisins in the United States are grown in California. The word for raisin in Malaysia is kismis. And global production of raisins in 2016 was 1.2 million metric tons, with the U.S. as the top producer, contributing 24% of the global harvest. And why we love this day? Well, cinnamon raisin loaves of bread are yummy and full of all the nutritional goodness that comes with raisins, like aiding digestion, helping to lose weight, and strengthening bone. And National Cinnamon Raisin Day is a day that should serve as an opportunity to protect or perfect our baking skills. And it's not enough to just experiment with recipes or create a new one. National Cinnamon Raisin Day also serves as the day when we have a reason to put out our newly invented recipe for the bread we all love. There you have it. Next time, it'll show up on Tuesday in 2025. Okay, so that takes care of the holiday of today. Let's now go to the Daily Motivator and Ralph Marston. Yep. Yes. The Daily Motivator for today. This is Monday, September 16th, of course, 2024. And a little difference is the title. And here we go. Make a little bit of a difference. Do it again and again. Know where you desire to go and proceed in that direction, one small step at a time. A sure way to bring on frustration and disappointment is to assume you're going to change your whole world overnight. A sure way to make progress is to be realistic about your ambitions. You cannot jump instantly to the top of the mountain, yet you absolutely can follow the winding pathway, climbing a little each day. Do that, and eventually, you'll be marveling at the spectacular view. Perhaps even more significantly, you'll feel the power of persistence deep within your bones and muscles. There's a little bit you can do right now and a little more tomorrow. Line up those little efforts in a consistent direction and go precisely where you wish to go. Perfect way to end this great program today on Nightly News. We'll be back tomorrow night from 7 to 8:30, back to our regularly scheduled times from Tuesday through Thursday, with more great articles and, of course, the trolls, wherever they may show up and whoever may show up, God willing. And we'll expose them here on the program until the assholes decide that it's time for them to come out of the closet and really just show who the heck they are. I'm giving you the open floor. Take it. I challenge you. In fact, I dare you, because in this case, you've got nothing but Alzheimer's disease because all you think about is the past. Remember, friends, your future is what you make of it. Be honest, be real, and keep it simple, stupid. Yes. And don't be a nut monkey either, for that matter. We'll see you tomorrow. Till then, good night.